How's it going, everyone? Sorry for the wait. I'm in Miami. I'm covering the 49ers in the Super Bowl for the Santa Rosa Press Democrat, and they're paying to send me out here to write lots of articles every day. So I don't have that much time. It's 9:18 in the evening at Miami right now, so I figured what better time to film a video, because if I don't do it now, I might never get around to it. There's so much to talk about with the Chiefs. I'm going to do two videos. I'm going to do offense today, the Chiefs offense, and what the Niners need to do to slow it down, and the Chiefs defense later this week. Stay tuned for that. Let's get right into the Chiefs offense. We can start with their run game because it's quick. There's not a lot of it. The Chiefs don't want to run the ball. Andy Reid would like to throw the ball 80 times per game if he could, but he runs the ball a token amount of times. Not a lot going on. This is one of the plays they run. It's an RPO. He could hand the ball off to the running back or pull it back, throw the little bubble screen to the wide receiver who motioned out. This time he hands it off to the running back who runs for 3 yards. Not a big threat here. Not a lot going on schematically. Pretty basic run play. All right, here's another run the Chiefs use. It's a draw. It looks at first like the offensive linemen are blocking for a pass. It looks at first like Mahomes is going to drop back to throw, and it looks at first like the running back's going to slide over and block. It's like the opposite of play action. It's a good concept. It's not a real physically dominating style of run, but they don't want to physically dominate you. The Chiefs don't want a physical contest. They want to trick you. The Niners would like to make it a physical contest. This is really all we're going to see, or most of what we're going to see from the Chiefs running game. They're going to be throwing a whole lot out of a particular formation. Let's look at what they do and how the Niners have to stop it. Andy Reid wants to pass the ball, and he wants to pass the ball out of this formation right here. It's a 3-by-1 formation. 3 receivers over here, 1 receiver over here. And what makes this unique, this is not a wide receiver. It's a tight end, Travis Kelce. But it was their leading receiver this season. This is the number one guy defenses have to key on and take away because he's the number one guy Mahomes wants to throw to. These guys pose problems too, but the first thing you got to ask is how are you going to match up with Travis Kelce? This time they don't do anything special. They just play cover 4. These 4 guys deep. Touchdown. You give him a free release. You don't jam him at the line of scrimmage. You try to pass him off to a safety. He's wide open. No one's covering him for a long stretch in this play. Mahomes looks at him the whole way. No one's covering him. You got to give Travis Kelce more respect than this. Either play him man-to-man with bump and run coverage and get in his face, or double team him. Don't try to pass him off from one guy to another because you're going to give up a touchdown. It's the main guy they want to throw to. So I would not recommend a standard cover 4 look. You got to give a little bit more respect, a lot bit more respect to Travis Kelce than this. Okay, here's that 3-by-1 formation again, and I'm just showing you what this formation with these particular players, how it stresses different zone coverages. I just showed you cover 4 deep, 3 underneath. This is cover 3, called cover 3 buzz in particular, because this safety is going to drop right in here as opposed to, and play the inside hook area as opposed to playing the curl flat. It's a very small distinction, but it's important. A lot of teams like to play cover 3 buzz against these 3-by-1 formations because the inside guy poses a lot of problems. You have to pick him up with this guy here, and usually it's a linebacker, but if you can buzz the safety down here and pick him up with a safety, you got a better matchup. So that makes sense. They did a good job covering the number 3 receiver, which is where Tyreek Hill lines up a lot. This is week 3. Hill was not healthy. And you see the Ravens put so much effort into taking away the number 3 receiver, the most inside of the 3. They lose track of number 2, Mecole Hardman, who is arguably just as fast as Tyreek Hill. So what happened? Let's go back and look. Why is cover 3 buzz maybe not the best thing to do against the Chiefs? Well, right here, you notice that Earl Thomas is in a great position to take away this crossing route. But since he's on this receiver here, this defender, the slot guy, is all on his own. And he's basically in man-to-man coverage. Most of the time, he would just hang out underneath. But if this receiver, number 2 of the 3 that goes 1, 2, 3, if number 2 goes vertical, runs straight, that becomes man-to-man instantly. And this cornerback has to, what they call, carry him up the field, run with him, because he's got no safety help. The safety is buzzing down to take away. I'm using enough buzzwords. So, man-to-man coverage. It was cover 3, but against cover 3 turns into man-to-man real quick against this formation, against this receiver in particular, number 2. 26 has to be disciplined to know, that's my guy. As soon as he starts running, I got to run with him, because 34 can't run with him. 34 is occupied by this guy out here. 26 has to go with him. He knows it now. He knows he messed up. But so the thing about this formation, it really stresses the eye discipline of the underneath defenders. And even if they, recognize the go route early and are disciplined and run with the guy, are you fast enough to run with Mecole Hardman? He runs a 4.3. I mean, this guy doesn't run a 4.3. K'Waun Williams doesn't run a 4.3. The Niners really have to avoid man-to-man coverage against Hardman and Hill in the slot. And the thing about this 3-by-1 formation, even if you play zone, cover 3 here, it turns into man-to-man on Hardman instantly. So cover 3 isn't really zone coverage against one of these guys. It's still pretty much man. You need to have a nickelback who can run with him or at least be disciplined. I wouldn't recommend cover 3 buzz against the Chiefs this weekend. Okay, now here's the 3-by-1 formation against the Texans in the playoffs. The Texans are going to use a standard cover 3, meaning this strong safety, instead of buzzing down into the middle, is going to run out to the flat over here. So you're going to have safety in the flat, a nickelback in the flat, 2 linebackers in the middle, cornerback bailing deep, and a free safety in the middle of the field. Standard cover 3, it's what the Niners use most of the time. Let's see how the Chiefs attack this. Same issue I showed you on the previous clip. They're so concerned about taking Tyreek Hill away on the deep crossing route, they give up the seam to the number 2 receiver. In this case, it's Sammy Watkins, who gains 27 yards. So again, look, you got, who is that? That's Mecole Hardman. Excuse me. I get them confused because he looks just as fast as Tyreek Hill on tape. Here's Tyreek over here. So Hardman is going to start off outside Watkins, meaning this is number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver, number 3. But Hardman's going to cut inside and run this deep over, and he's looking at him. He's looking at him. They're prepared for him. They're ready for it. This is the route that Mahomes wants to throw the most. But they just let this guy run by him like in the last clip. Again, in cover 3, the curl flat defender has to carry the number 2 receiver vertical if he runs that way, because this cornerback is occupied by Tyreek Hill. He can't just run over here now, because then Mahomes can throw the touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. So this guy's basically in a night fork, to use a chess reference. One guy covering 2 people, that's like covering no one. So in cover 3, again, you got to have really disciplined underneath defenders and also really fast underneath defenders, because right now it's man-to-man coverage. It was zone. Now you got to run with him man-to-man. Are you fast enough? Sammy Watkins isn't the fastest guy, although he's not slow. But if it's Hill or Hardman, you got a real problem. That's why I would not recommend that much cover 3 this weekend. Okay, final clip of the Chiefs attacking variations of cover 3 from their 3-by-1 formation. Again, Kelce's isolated up top. And this is 3rd and 7. So like I said, Kelce is the number 1 target on the Chiefs. He's the guy they want to go to on 3rd down. He's the guy you got to take away. So Chargers, how are they going to do that? On 3rd and 7, they do what's called cover 3 cloud. And all these variations are basically who goes where. It's always 3 deep, 4 underneath. But in this variation of it's called cloud because instead of the curl flat defenders being a nickelback and a safety, it's the corner. The corner stays in the flat. This safety goes over the top. This safety stays in the middle of the field, and this corner bails. So you have 3 deep, 4 underneath, and the 1 underneath guy is the corner near Kelce. You're basically bracketing him with this guy playing short and inside, short and outside here, and this guy playing over the top. So you're pretty much bracketing the guy you think the ball's going to go to. But the thing about the Chiefs, even though it's 3rd and 7, they'll still throw deep. And since you've put all this attention on a Kelce with this cloud coverage over here, bringing the safety over here, now you've left Tyreek Hill one-on-one against a linebacker running deep with no safety help. That's a bad matchup. That's a gain of 47. Again, there are so many ways that the Chiefs can ruin cover 3, all the different variations. Cover 3 buzz, cover 3 cloud, cover 3, you name it. I really wouldn't call too much of it against the Chiefs. You see what happens. Okay, so cover 3 doesn't work too well against this formation. Straight cover 4 doesn't work too well against this formation, this 3-by-1 set with the tight end outside. Here's man-to-man coverage. Let's look at a couple of man-to-man coverage clips. This is from a week and a half ago in the AFC Championship game. Hardman goes in motion. The cornerback follows him. It's man-to-man coverage. You got a safety deep, a linebacker underneath. He's playing the underneath zone. He's playing the deep zone. They're taking away crossing routes. They double cover Mecole Hardman. They take that away. But again, just like in cover 3, man-to-man coverage on the number 2 receiver. This time it's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill. They do a really good job on the deep over from the inside receiver, but the guy in between. Now he's man-to-man against a cornerback with no safety help over the top. You can't do this. You cannot do this to your team. I'm talking about the defensive coordinator. It's an easy touchdown. I would not recommend cover 1 man with the safety in the middle of the field. You need someone helping over the top here. Who's running with Tyreek Hill? No one. He's the fastest player in the league. Okay, so cover 1 isn't a good option against the Chiefs because you're so vulnerable, again, against number 2 running deep. So what's a better option? Cover, they would call this 2-man. So man coverage with 2 deep safeties, not 1 deep and 1 underneath. So you play 2-man. Again, they're in great position to take away this deep over route. You're bracketing it, basically. You got 2 guys covering Tyreek Hill, 2 guys covering Travis Kelce. You're double covering their 2 best receivers. That's what Bill Belichick would do. That's great. No one's open. Problem is Patrick Mahomes can run. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's extremely mobile. And if you play 2-man coverage, you could play that against Matt Ryan or Aaron Rodgers or any quarterback who's not going to beat you with his legs. But if a quarterback can scramble, you can't play 2-man because this happens. No one is spying the quarterback. Most of the defenders in coverage have their back to him, and when he starts to run, when he starts to scramble, they have to run and catch him from very deep in the field. He's been doing this to defenses the last couple of weeks that have tried to play man coverage, just running, and he could beat you with his legs. I would not recommend 2-man coverage against the Chiefs. So what would I recommend? I'll show you. All right, so there's a few things you need to do against the Chiefs to have a chance. First, you have to disguise your coverages anyway. Whatever you show something else with less than 10 seconds left in the play clock. Rotate to a second coverage late in the play clock. Make Patrick Mahomes, who's still young, check to another play as the play clock's ticking down because there's a lot of pressure in that. There's a lot of mental work he needs to do with the clock ticking down. Make him do that. And then while you're disguising your coverages, you need to pick one that you feel comfortable with against this particular formation. And I would recommend something called cover 4 lock. What that means is you're locking Travis Kelce man-to-man with your best cornerback. The Chargers did this with this cornerback here who I've never heard of. This was week 17. The Niners can do it with Richard Sherman, and I think they should. If Kelce's on the right side, put Richard Sherman here, bump and run coverage. That's a good matchup because Kelce's not going to run by him. He's not faster than Richard Sherman. He's a little bit bigger than Richard Sherman, but Sherman's the biggest corner they have. He's the smartest corner they have. He's tough. Lock him on Kelce. If Kelce's on the left, put Sherman over there. If Kelce's on the right, put Sherman over there. Because Sherman won't need any help with Kelce. He can cover a man-to-man and take him out of the game. That's a good start. Also, if the running back is lined up to the 3 receiver side, lock him too, because now you have 3 eligible receivers flooding a zone. You can't let that happen. So you lock Kelce. If the receiver's over here, you lock him with the linebacker, and you play zone covers the rest of the way. You play 3 deep, 2 underneath with a lock on Kelce and a lock on running back. That's cover 4 lock. And the reason I prefer this is rather than asking one of these underneath defenders to run with the number 2 wide receiver, Mecole Hardman or Tyreek Hill, they can't do it. No corner, no safety, no linebacker on the Niners can line up this close to Mecole Hardman and run with them deep. Don't ask them to. Play deep safeties. Have those guys run into people who are playing 15 yards away. That'll take them away. That'll take away the deep stuff. Force the Chiefs to check the ball down and to engineer long drives because they get impatient. They want to have 2, 3, 4 play drives, not 9, 10, 11 play drives. That goes for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So this, I'm not saying this is exactly cover 4 lock. It might be a variation of it, but it's the closest I could find. They lock Travis Kelce. Derwin James is a little shallow. I mean, in cover 4, he'd be deeper on the same level as the free safety, but I'm trying to illustrate what I would do. You lock Travis Kelce man-to-man with Sherman. You have Jaquiski Tartt playing deep over here to pick up Tyreek Hill on the deep over route. Then you got to be prepared for the deep over route from Mecole Hardman as well. This free safety wasn't prepared for it, and he gives up a 30-yard catch. But I don't blame the design of the play. Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator, I think this is a good call. You have James picks up this deep over route, and this guy's in great position to defend Mecole Hardman. You don't have a guy running with him with his back to the quarterback. You have a guy waiting for him. And what he does is react too late. Let's look at it one more time. Hardman's running right at him. He can see it all the way. He's in perfect position. Gus Bradley has done his job so far. Mecole Hardman's just going to run a gradual turn like he's running the 220 on a track, and this free safety reacts late. I mean, he should be driving sooner. I think Jimmy Ward would drive sooner. I think Jimmy Ward would play this a lot better. This is what I would do. I wouldn't want K'Waun Williams turning and running with Mecole Hardman. I'd want Jimmy Ward waiting for him right deep. This is, I think, the best thing you can do. This is what I think Robert Saleh will do. He uses a lot of quarters coverage, more than he did in the past. It's the best option against a 3-by-1 formation with a tight end outside. What do you think?